This week on the travel show while at Tilenga Safari Lodge. Courtesy of Cross Culture Foundation.
The site that we are working with in West Nile, called Wanglei, is located just on the banks of River Nile. This site is significant because of the two Luo brothers that we've all studied about.
We explore the history of Gipir and Labong, the famous brothers known for the spear and the bead.
So Gipir said, let me go and prepare for you another new spear. Nyabongo, reluctant. He said he needs exactly his spear. Gipir said, but my brother, we are the same brother. How can I go and get that elephant with that spear?
The famous separation place of the two Luo brothers at Wanglei, whose cultural significance is fast becoming a touristic site. Hello, Uganda. My name is Amompele Bismarck Moses. Tia, my bell. When you hear that word, you just know that I'm in Pakwach, the heart of West Nile, and you're going to tell one of the greatest stories ever told. The story of the spear and the bead. The story of Gipir and Labong. Some people want to call that name as Gipir and Labong. Whatever it is, the story remains very authentic. Here we are at Wanglei, the culture site that many of us have always heard about, in the heart of West Nile. Now, the story of Wanglei and the spear and the bead, Gipir and Labong, begins. Welcome. This is a legendary tale of the spear and the bead, the story of Gipir and Labong. To get an in-depth picture, we set off to Pakwach district over 5 hours from Kampala to our host, Tilenga Safari Lodge. The connection of the two Luo words, till and enga, to make Tilenga, upon which Tilenga Safari Lodge gets its name, sheds more light about our hosts.
Tilenga comes from a repeated word, meaning name of an antelope. Till is a Luo word meaning antelope. Ngavi in Runyoro means antelope. So it is an antelope emphasized.
Traveling becomes fun with a great place for good sleep and great food.
We are an intimate luxury lodge. We can go for between 4 to 5 star lodge.
The bustle and hustle in the city comes to calm, while in places full of nature.
I welcome everybody. Those who are coming to learn from us, those who are coming to partner from us, and then the clients who are coming to consume our products are all welcome.
The view of the Albert Nile, Tilenga cottages in the bush within the vicinity of Markshan Falls in Pakwach district depicts the culture of the locals. This episode is about explore Uganda from both a historical and cultural perspective, and Tilenga Safari Lodge being strategically positioned at Wanglei, which is our focal point. To some, it is pronounced as Gipir and Labong, while others say Gipir and Labong. But what stands out well is the famous story of the spear and the bead. A tale of two Luo brothers who shaped the history of the Luo people in the current West Nile region of Uganda. We cannot afford to miss this, but only after the short commercial break. Tova wo, tukoma wo. Once upon a time, in the land of Luo, in West Nile, there lived two brothers who moved from Bahel Gazelle to Uganda's current region of West Nile. Cross Culture Foundation gives us a brief on the significance of this historical and cultural story.
This site is significant because of the two Luo brothers that we've all studied about. We've heard about Gipiri, who some people the Aru refer to as Nyipiri, and Labong, who the Aru refer to as Nyabong. These two brothers migrating from southern Sudan. This was their arrival point, the area around Murchison Falls National Park and a little bit of West Nile. And when they had disagreements, what we call Wangle, or what the Achoris refer to as Wangwat Latong, was the point that the two brothers agreed to separate and take different directions.
To get a clear picture, we set off from Tilenga Safari Lodge to Wanglei, a place the two brothers separated. But before that, we meet the priests in charge of the site. Now, I'm not going to claim being a custodian of culture, especially a custodian in this part, because they're experts, they're people who are actually equipped and endowed with information as far as this historical information is concerned. The culture story of Wanglei, besides me, is a high priest of the Wanglei culture site. Walter, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay.
I'm called Jalobo Walter Omot, High Priest of Wanglei, where Gipir and Labong, they are separated.
Without him, no access to the site.
When Gipir is back at home, Labong heard that an elephant ran with his spear. He started just to quarrel. He quarreled bitterly of how Gipir get the spear without his information. So Gipir said, let me go and prepare for you another new spear. Labong reluctant. He said he needs exactly his spear. Gipir said, but my brother, we are the same brother. How can I go and get that elephant with that spear?
Labong came back to find the homesteads buzzing with excitement about the events that had happened. They relate to him the story of how Gipiri had single-handedly saved the situation against the massive elephant and managed to chase it away. Some researchers and academicians think he became envious because of his brother's courage was the talk of the homestead, yet he was the one who was tasked to protect the homestead. As fate or fortune may have dictated, Labong realized that Gipiri had used the royal spear to stab the elephant, which had run away with the same spear stuck in its body. What Labong does is what becomes the gist of our legendary story, the spear and the bead.
Labong said he needs only that spear, not to prepare another spear. So Gipir was really annoyed that how can I go and get that thing? If like that, let me prepare my journey just to follow the footpath of the elephant. If possible, if he can get that spear. He's prepared his food. He started his journey, just going footstep of that elephant. When he walked almost 3 years.
He walked for 3 years?
He walked for 3 years.
In the wilderness?
In the wilderness.
What was he eating?
He's just eating just fruits, fruit of a tree.
The travel show returns after the short commercial break with details. Don't you go away. When Labong discovered Gipiri had used the missing royal spear, which had got stuck in the elephant's body, he demanded that do or die, Gipiri had to produce the spear, a task that was close to impossible. Gipir couldn't believe what he was hearing and how he was expected to trail the injured elephant and recover the spear amidst the wild in what is currently Murchison Falls National Park. Fortunately, luck was on his side.
And by good luck, he went to a place called Upper Ajumani district. He got an old woman. That woman, another side is elephant, another side is human being. So when he saw Gipir,
The woman was an elephant and a human being.
And human being. Other side is human being. Other side is elephant. So when he reached there, that woman called him. Where are you from? He said, I come here just to charge my spear. I just spear in an elephant with my spear of my brother Nyabongo. So Nyabongo said that he need his spear direct.
Then an incident happened when Labong's child swallowed Gipir's bead. This, according to Gipir, was time to pay back. The conflict ended with Labong's child being murdered to get the bead. This is a culture tourism episode capturing the highlights of the great and significant history of the Luo people. The two brothers agreed that they could no longer live together, and through the mediation of Jonam Chief Uvungu, they were separated at Wanglei and an axe thrown in the river to signify the separation. Gipiri and his family moved to the western part, while Labong and his family moved to the eastern. Wanglei is now an iconic culture site and a development by Cross Culture Foundation of Uganda.
So because of the rising waters, we found that this site was under danger of being submerged. Actually, as we speak now, the real separation point is within the water. And right now what was left to mark this boundary to mark the site were the two trees that were still standing, and even these were underwater. So what we did is to build a retaining wall with the approval of the National Environment Management Authority. We didn't use concrete, we didn't use what they call hard engineering. We just used the natural method, just piling stones to provide a sort of fence that protects the river from sweeping away the site.
Gipiri became the grandfather of the Arul of Nebi and the Democratic Republic of Congo and was buried at Lajidong in Nebi, while Labong became the grandfather of the Acholi and the Luo and was buried in Nyoya district. This story is not only legendary, but will stand the test of time, and Wanglei will forever be a significant culture tourism site. Now, the story of tourism and conservation of wildlife in particular is a story that we have always told many times. The big question is, how far do we talk about the preservation and conservation of culture? The story of Wanglei and the story of Gipir and Labong gives me a clear glimpse that it is very fascinating and captivating. We want to dive into deep ends as far as that story is concerned. Next week, we're going to Panyamul, the museum, which talks a lot about the culture of people of West Nile. I can't wait to catch you next week with these details. Many thanks to Tilenga Safari Lodge and, of course, Cross Culture Foundation of Uganda for making this happen. Next week, keep it locked on NBS. This is this week's travel quote. A nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people. A quote by Mahatma Gandhi. I'm Bismarck Moses for NBS Travel Show.